What a dooski, guys, it's Fail34 here with my Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 3, Episode 19, Failed Experiments Review. So last week's episode was fairly hectic, having a lot of things in it, like Fitz and Simmons, Hive and James, and all of his plans, and that continues in this episode. Pretty much Coulson and his team are trying to stop Hive's plans, but as well trying to save Daisy at the same time. Hive starts putting his plans into action with the help of Radcliffe and some people out of this world. So there's a lot going on in this episode. For example, this episode starts off with the interesting backstory of Hive and how he was experimented on. Then we go into things like Fitz and Simmons, and then Daisy and Mac's relationship, and then Daisy and her, interactions with all the other people and how they feel about her. The KREE Scavengers, how they got there, them fighting. There's just a lot of things in this episode, and it can get distracting at times. So let's just get into some of the more effective and non-effective things in this episode. So Hive getting all these Inhumans together. That's freaking cool. We're finally seeing Hive put together his plan with his Inhuman army, and it's pretty cool. We're starting to learn more about the KREE. We're learning about how Inhumans are being made. They're making shortcuts to make humans into Inhumans. Getting some other Inhumans we saw earlier, like the girl who can clone herself. And we also see James, most notably. Now he has his own power. They're starting to show off his powers a little more, and I'm liking it. Hopefully they start fleshing him out a little more. They mentioned the name Inferno when they're going through a bunch of stuff. I don't know if they're going to actually use that, or if he's going to be like the Inferno in the comic books from the new Inhumans. Who knows? The whole sequence with James and May 2 are really nice. Seeing her just play around messing with James to get this information, because he's the kind of character who can get swindled with all that stuff, was really funny. Thinking about it though, that pool stick knocked him out the entire time, while the fights were going on. I don't know where he went. The stakes in this episode are making the show really intense. Everything is personable and has emotional weight to it. It really impacts the way that characters interact with each other, like Daisy and Mac, or Coulson and Lincoln. There's just so much tension there because they all care for Daisy, for her well-being, and they want to stop Hive because they really don't know what they're messing with. Something in the last episode that they brought to this one that I liked was the element of Fitz and Simmons. It was much more subtle. They're pretty much together. I mean, yeah. I'm liking the direction the relationship is going. It's starting to develop more, and they're starting to be more comfortable. Connecting back to the emotional weight, we're seeing them argue, when Lincoln's trying to decide whether or not to take the virus. And then we see them make up and seeing these lighter tone moments where they're actually trying to, even despite all this going on, they're arguing. Even though there's aliens trying to end the world, there's still that piece where they're trying to build something. And it's just nice to see that. Better workout. It took 3 freaking seasons, fam. 3! Speaking of Lincoln, he's really starting to step up. I feel like for the past couple episodes, they're really trying to make us sympathize and feel bad for the guy. He's like this vaccine or whatever that didn't even work, just trying to hopefully save his girlfriend, and he betrayed the trust of Fitz and Simmons, and he's sick, oh my god. He has good intentions and wants to help, but he's painted as a bad guy, and not to mention that he also has this history of anger that people aren't really trusting him with. Simmons calls Lincoln out for having a clouded mind because he's not necessarily making the right calls when it comes to Daisy. I really hope by the time the season ends in the next couple episodes that Lincoln has a direct impact on why Hive falls. Oh my god, and that scene where he takes a vaccine and then he gets electricity everywhere, all the lights turn off and it goes to commercial. So sick. One of the last things that I liked in this episode, Daisy and Mac. Damn. They have this connection that they've been developing over this time, and Mac thought he could genuinely save her, but he couldn't. This is probably one of my favorite moments in the episode because the intensity to it. Also, just the fact that Mac's going against the odds. He knows that he could easily die, but because he thought Daisy was trying to tell him to come there. Coulson told you no, listen to the man. It started getting really personal when they're calling out shots to his brother, telling him that you can't even be a big brother to me because you're not a good big brother to your own brother. Oh my god. And then she called him out on Bobby and Hunter and everything, and man, shots fired. The whole time I was scared because I actually thought he was gonna die and Daisy was just gonna straight up rip out his heart. I was kind of disappointed there weren't bigger repercussions with that because, Daisy did warn Fitz and Simmons, if you do anything else, you guys will get hurt. I mean, that was kind of weird / bothered me was the whole state of Daisy. At first she wasn't against S.H.I.E.L.D., but as the episode goes along, that kind of fades away, especially with the parts with Mac. So pretty much Hive has full control over Daisy now because in the beginning of the episode she defended S.H.I.E.L.D. and that's not the case anymore. Why is Hive doing so many unnecessary things? They're really just impeding on his own plans. You've been waiting this long, fam. Be efficient, get your shit done. This is more of a nitpick, but Hive is kind of losing his menacing vibe that he's been gaining the past couple episodes. I will say though, that one scene where he got shot in the shoulder, epic. The KREE in this episode, really, I'll be the first one to say they kind of were lame, and they just look like overgrown twin Smurfs. With all these elements thrown into the mix so deep into the season, it can kind of make this episode feel a bit bloated / distracting. Something I'd like to see is, elements from earlier in the season play out to what's happening now to make things feel a little bit more thematically cohesive. Overall, guys, I didn't think this was a crazy episode, nor did I think it was a bad episode. I thought it was pretty average. There was a lot happening, but there's only about 2 or 3 episodes more left in the season, so we could definitely see that Inhuman army coming to life and the S.H.I.E.L.D. team having to deal with that. I'm gonna go ahead and give this episode a 7 out of 10. Do you guys think we'll see some Civil War stuff in next week's episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you guys like this video, don't forget you can leave a thumbs up and subscribe if you have not already. If you really liked it, you can also share it. Also, guys, if you want, you can check out my channel, links down below, Fail34. And that's it for me, guys. I will see you next time.